Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Channels Beam on Channels Television, and insecurity is our focus. Today, you just heard from our online contributors, but we're now joined by Demola Olariwaju. Demola, thanks for coming on the program.
The pleasure is mine, Victor.
It's been a while since foreign countries offered to help Nigeria to fight and stop this scourge of insurgency, especially in the northern part of the country. But since then, we haven't heard anything. Bombs are still going on. Abducted girls yet to be released. What is happening?
Well, first of all, I think the efforts of the international countries to intervene in the it focused mainly on bringing back the abducted girls and then to help with the insurgency as well. But what we have to realize as Nigerians is the fact that no nation can fight your battles for you. No country will help us to deal with our own insurgency. There has been much controversy on the exact number of countries involved, on the exact number of soldiers that have been given to us. The Americans are said to be here, the British are said to be here, the Canadians are said to be here, as well as the French as well. So we need to know what exactly is going on. We need to know how many countries and what exactly is their level of engagement. But having said that, I think it is also a form of justification for our own military here, that the fact that girls have not been brought back despite the international intervention shows that this insurgency is not something that you can tackle in one day, and the fact that rescuing kidnapped people is not something that can be combated in one day. So I think it is a form of justification for what our own military has been saying all along.
Okay, but there's a school of thought also that says, that is looking at the fact that there's no synergy between the foreign armies and the Nigerian army. What's your take on that?
Synergy is not something that is built in a day. You cannot, you can't put two armies. There has to be a chain of command, and if the chain of command is not clear, you know, you can. How do we expect them to work together? I think these are things that we should have looked into before now. But I understand that some of them are here to help us to train some of our soldiers on counter-insurgency measures and so on and so forth. So in that area, I think, you know, there has been a lot of improvement. But it won't necessarily yield fruits in one day. But obviously, our soldiers are getting better at dealing with the situation. You know, much as we can say that in the past few weeks or in the past 1 or 2 months, there have been increased number of strikes. But in the past 1 or 2 months as well, for those who are observing what is going on, we'll find out that there have also been a lot of busted operations. There have also been a lot of successes on the part of the military and on the part of the SSS, the security operatives as well. So I think we are improving in terms of intelligence gathering, and we have to understand the fact that Boko Haram itself is also getting quite desperate.
All right, so talking about desperate, I mean, they're talking about being desperate now. Boko Haram has resorted to using female young suicide bombers. How did we get to this? How do you explain this recent change?
For me, I think it's a sign that Boko Haram is getting desperate, and they might also it is possible that they are running out of willing, mid-aged young men to use as suicide bombers, for them to be resorting to female suicide bombers. Because the truth is, these girls are young girls, and they are not, from what one hears and what one has read, that they are not going willingly. These girls are only sent on errand with the bomb strapped to their body. They are not told that they are going into a suicide situation or going on a suicide mission, and so they remotely detonate the bomb on the bodies of these girls. So that means they are not finding people who are willing to die anymore. So it is a sign of desperation, and it shows that the military is doing something right. The military is squeezing on them, because the more you squeeze on these insurgents, the more desperate they get. They begin to throw random attacks, and once they get desperate and start to throw random attacks, that means they have less time to plan their attacks, and that means that they can more easily be caught.
All right, now some also are saying that these girls could be some of the girls abducted in Chibok. Do you agree?
No, I do not. I do not agree with that.
Why?
Well, but there's no evidence to suggest that, you know. So it is only, you see, we have to understand that terrorism plays on one major factor, and that is the scare factor. Terrorism wants to scare you. As a matter of fact, someone called it scarorism, you know, that they try to make you afraid. So in telling us that, oh, some of the suicide bombers, what they are trying to do is to divide Nigeria. they are trying to make sure that we see the government as the enemy, whereas the government is not the enemy. The only enemy that we have is Boko Haram, and everyone should come out to condemn the things that they are doing. So unless there is definite evidence, there is conclusive evidence that these girls are, the abducted girls of Chibok, I do not think there's any reason for anyone yet to believe that those female suicide bombers are part of the Chibok girls that were abducted.
Just in closing this conversation, the last attack, I mean, the one General Buhari retired,
Yes,
escaped, there was some kind of blame trading between political parties.
yes.
How do you see that helping the fight against insurgency?
Well, I think it is most unfortunate that our politicians often try to politicize the situation, the security situation. But of course, one cannot, you cannot stop politicians from playing politics or trying to gain political leverage out of anything that happens. But having said that, I think the government of President Goodluck Jonathan did well, in commending, in, reaching out to General Muhammadu Buhari on, and congratulating him and thanking God on his behalf that he is still alive. For me personally, I think General Muhammadu Buhari being alive, he should see it as an opportunity to rise up to the occasion as a leader from the north, as a leader who we can say that, some of these Boko Haram insurgents, they must have some measure of respect from him, because Buhari is General Muhammadu Buhari is the most popular politician presently from that part of the north. He is the one who they see as their leader. So I think he should see the opportunity of coming out of this attack alive. You see it as an opportunity to rally the north, to rally the religious leaders in the north, traditional leaders in the north, and other politicians in the north, to rally them against Boko Haram. Let him come out and issue more definitive statement. So far, I know he has only spoken about once or twice on the matter. I think he should speak more on the issue and condemn every activity that is violent in nature, so that this Boko Haram issue can be laid to the rest once and for all.
All right, Dema Larewaju, thank you for coming on this program this
afternoon.
afternoon and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you very much,
with
Victor.
us. Well, that's where we are. Some knocks for the military, as well as commendations for the military. However, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll take your tweets as well as your messages on Facebook and Google+. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this. To watch both discussions, just visit our website. It's channelstv.com and YouTube channel, youtube.com/channelsweb. We take a break, and then we look at some of the comments you sent. Wonders, they say, shall never end, and that is why this underground kidnappers' hideout found in Imo State is the 5th most viewed video in the past week.
A cabaret show.
At number 4 is Patrick Obahiagbon's description of the fracas in the Edo State House of Assembly.
It's a show of shame, and it is not something that should be condoned.
Your father is the owner of this complex.
Is it my father or your father?
Yes, your father.
My father.
And at number 3 is the fracas itself.
Who
At number 2, this little girl abducted and sold into slavery finally finds freedom and challenges her abductors.
Yes!
While topping the charts is Senator Adeleke serenading Osun citizens during a rally of the All Progressives Congress with a Skelewu dance. Well, those were some of the comments you sent, as well as the videos that you watched the most on our YouTube channel in the past week. Apart from insurgency and terrorism, Nigeria is faced with challenges posed by kidnappers in the southern part of the country, where criminals kidnap innocent citizens and hold them hostage until a huge amount of money is paid as ransom. While all these goes on, political parties, instead of seeking a joint solution to the problem, accuse each other of perpetrating the acts. It is high time Nigerians, the Nigerian government, and Nigerian political parties join hands together to fight insecurity in the country so that absolute peace, once enjoyed, can be enjoyed again. This is where we draw the curtains on this edition of Channels Beam, but the conversation continues online. Just follow the social media addresses showing on your screen, and I am Victor Matthias. Goodbye.